सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। श्लोका नंबर 17, थर्ड चैप्टर। अथ तृतीयोऽध्यायः। श्रीभगवानुवाच यस्त्वात्मरतिरेव स्यात् आत्मतृप्तश्च मानवः आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्टः तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थः नाकृते नेह कश्चन न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिदर्थव्यपाश्रयः तस्मादसक्तः सततम् कार्यं कर्म समाचर असक्तो ह्याचरन् कर्म परमाप्नोति पूरुषः। So this third chapter is titled as Karma Yoga, and this chapter started with Arjuna's question, which ashrama, which lifestyle is better. In fact, he asked, karma is better or jnanam is better. Then Bhagavan gave the answer suggesting that karma and jnanam, they have their own place. Therefore, there is no choice between karma and jnanam. Only choice you have got is with regard to lifestyle. There are two lifestyles, pravritti marga and nivritti marga. But in both the lifestyles, person has to attain chitta shuddhi, person has to follow jnana yoga, attain jnanam to discover freedom. And then Bhagavan talked about the superiority or greatness of life of karma yoga compared to inappropriate renunciation of karma. Means compared to inappropriate, untimely renunciation of karma, karma yoga is better. And he gave various reasons. Then he talked about karma yoga from different angles. Karma yoga can be seen as carrying out Bhagavan's instruction through scriptures. Karma yoga can be seen as worship of the Lord through action. Karma yoga can be seen as the means for purification. Karma yoga can be seen as the means for maintaining the harmony in the universe. whatever way you see, you follow the life of Karma Yoga. And what is the life of Karma Yoga? Doing one's own duty with proper attitude. And of course, receiving the result with proper attitude. And then Bhagavan said, what is the limit of Karma Yoga? Means how long person has to follow this Karma Yoga? How long person is expected to do his duties, karma? Bhagavan said, until one gets Chitta Shuddhi and Atmik Dhanam. Once person has got Atmik Dhanam, then karma is not required. Why? Because whatever is to be gained from karma is attained by the person. Sadhya prapto sadhana kanksha nasti. So when you have the attainment of the very purpose, the goal of a particular means, then means is not required. And that idea he gave in the 17th shloka, saying that a person who is reveling in oneself, person who is not depending upon the world to be happy, for that person karma is not there. So until one gets this inner independence, person needs to continue doing the karma. The wise person doesn't require karma because whatever can be gained from karma he has already attained. And in the 18th shloka, similar idea was clarified, similar idea was elaborated rather, that why wise person doesn't require any karma, why he is free from any duty or injunction. It was said, he doesn't have any purpose to be served through any action. He doesn't have any purpose to be served through inaction. And he does not have dependence upon any person for any purpose. He doesn't have any axe to grind from anyone. Generally what happens, people feel very insecure with regard to people around. In the sense, if this person goes away, what? I can't even think about the departure of that person calmly, objectively. Even people say, Swamiji, I don't want to have the thought about his or her departure. It frightens me. Very thought is frightening. And they don't like to even think, or they don't like to talk about. If somebody is talking about, doesn't like to hear. Why? We have so much emotional dependence upon people around. And therefore, sometimes people threaten us directly or indirectly, that if you do like this or if you don't do like this, I will go away, I will not talk to you. Nothing, we always try to live in harmony, but we are subject to this threatening because we have too much emotional dependence upon people around. And I cannot think objectively about the departure or even temporary separation from that person. And as long as such dependence upon the person is there, whatever needs to be done to keep that person in good humor, you have to do it. If person is a source of the happiness or security for you, then you have to do things for that person. Whereas a wise person doesn't have anybody like that. Kaschid artha vyapashrayah sarva bhuteshu nasti. For that person there is no one upon whom he or she, the wise person, depends for some purpose. Wise person doesn't have anyone on whom he depends for some purpose. Either money, security, emotional satisfaction. We have different reasons to depend upon different people. Some people depend for physical security, some emotional security, financial security, social security. Because if this person is not there, I will not have good, what is called, image or good standing in the society. Therefore I depend. And a wise person doesn't have that. And therefore, to keep that person in good humor, he doesn't have any activity. To keep the person, he has to do something. That type of situation is not there. Even with regard to devatas, he doesn't have such duty. Otherwise, we have to do like I have to do this chanting. Why? Otherwise, that devata will not be happy. I have to do this chanting. Otherwise, other devata will not be happy. And people are so much afraid. Like if they forget to do Vishnu Sahasranama, the whole day they will think something will happen, something will happen. Today I have not done, today I have not done. Why? Because we have so much dependence. The wise person is not afraid of even devatas. In Brihadaranyaka it is said that even devatas cannot prevent or obstruct his freedom. Therefore he doesn't have to worry about that what devatas will do if I don't do, or if I don't go to the temple, or if I don't worship. He doesn't have. He or she will be going to the temple for different reason, which we will see later on. But out of fear, he doesn't do. And therefore he doesn't have any duty to keep anybody in good humor. And then Bhagavan says, Arjuna, so emotional independence is your goal, is something you would like to achieve, and that is possible by discovery of self-adequacy through knowledge. No other way. Nobody can become emotionally independent unless one discovers inner happiness, inner fullness through knowledge. And therefore, to attain that emotional inner independence, you require knowledge. And knowledge is possible only when you have got maturity of the mind. And for maturity of the mind, karma is required. Therefore, asaktaha san satatam karyam karma samachara. Remaining detached from this phala, from any particular result, or remaining detached from any particular action, karyam karma, may you do your action to be done. Why? Because asaktaha acharan, remaining free from any type of attachment to karma or karma phala, when a person does his duty, param apnoti, that person attains the highest, which is called freedom. Of course, not directly. He attains this freedom by jnanam. But for jnanam, chitta shuddhi required, for that karma is required. So Bhashyakara says, sattva shuddhi dvarena. Through the purity of the mind and attainment of knowledge, one attains moksha. So karma yoga is indirect means for moksha. And without this karma yoga, moksha is not possible, and you want moksha, therefore you follow karma yoga. We do not have choice. People say, Swamiji, I don't like karma yoga, I like only jnana yoga. You don't have a choice. Certain nutrients are required. So you cannot say, I don't like carbohydrate, I like only protein. So you need carbohydrate, you require vitamins. So similarly, karma is required, and therefore, Arjuna, you follow the life of karma yoga. Now, in the next shloka, Bhagavan is answering a possible question. And what is that question? Which is the question of many householders. Swamiji, I don't think remaining in Grihastha-shrama, remaining in non-sannyasi setup, I can get moksha. Many people think that Swamiji, in Grihastha-shrama, nobody can get moksha. I know so many issues are there, so many problems are there. Grihastha-shrama, Swamiji, moksha is not possible. So you are talking very nicely, you study Shastra, have Shamadama, etc. because you are in sannyas ashrama. Swamiji, when I become sannyasi, I will show you. So generally we blame something. We blame on something for our what is called deficiency or our problems. So people generally think that it is not possible to get moksha remaining in grihastha-ashrama, remaining with karma. Is it possible that person follows karma yoga and still he will attain finally moksha? Has it happened? Is there any precedence Generally, our mind, human mind, wants some precedence. That somebody said you go through this path. Then has anybody gone through this path and attained? Always precedence. Human being is very frightened being. Doesn't want to take risk. Most of the people, they don't take risk. They always see. In government, don't know what they do, that whenever any letter is to be drafted, they always open old file. And nowadays open the file, not cut and paste. And sometimes cut and paste, wrong things also happen. The last year date they will retain. We invite you for 2023 this. So because cut and paste. So human mind is like this. We don't want to take risk. So Arjuna may have this question. Has it happened that somebody remained with karma and still attained moksha? Bhagavan says yes. And in the next shloka he says, Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim Astita janakadayah Loka sangrahamevapi Sampashyan kartumarhasi. So Bhagavan is telling in this shloka that Arjuna, yes, we have precedence. And the most popular precedence is Janaka Raja. Janaka Raja is a very great example. Of course, there are some other Ashwapati and all, they are also referred to in Shastra, who remaining in karma, they followed the life of Karma Yoga, remaining in karma, they pursued Vedanta, attained Jnanam, attained Moksha. Means they did not take sannyasa and still attained Moksha. Like some people think that, oh, if I am in a hostel, then only study is possible. Remaining at home, how can I study? And then gives the example. See, this person who has come first, he was at home only. But first. So don't say, this boy doesn't want to remain at home, he wants to go to the hostel. And therefore he will say, I cannot study. Why? Because, you are not putting me in hostel. So, Bhagavan, similarly Arjuna will say that how can I get moksha if I don't renounce karma? If I don't renounce all the duties, all these, this yuddha, fight, etc., how can I get moksha? For that Bhagavan says, Janaka dayaha, Janaka and others, asthitaha, attained, samsiddhim, means freedom, karmana eva, remaining with karma alone, remaining with karma, abiding by the duties, remaining with karma alone, janakadayaha samsiddhim asthitaha. So you should not say that without sannyasa how can I get moksha? There are precedents where people have attained moksha. And yes, sannyasa ashrama has got some advantages. We don't deny that. Otherwise I will be in trouble. People will tell me, then why you took sannyasa? If sannyasa also is okay, grihastha also is okay, why sannyasa? If a person has got certain conducive prarabdha, certain conducive setup, then sannyasa ashrama can give more time available. More time and exemption from certain duties, so that he or she can have exclusive commitment to knowledge. But it is not, sannyasa is not a guarantee for moksha. It is something like if a person is staying in the hostel, then he or she may have less distraction because of TV, people are watching and all this. But just because person is staying in the hostel doesn't mean he will get first rank. In fact, sometimes whatever rank he was getting, that also will be lost. Because in hostel so much freedom, so it is abuse, drug addict he becomes. So it is not a guarantee. Just because you send the person to good hostel, therefore he will do well. No guarantee. In fact, if he or she is at home, at least some problems which happen would not have happened. Nowadays hostel is full of that. You hear so many things in the news. So particular setup is not a guarantee for moksha. Particular ashrama, particular stage of life is not a guarantee for moksha. Bhagavan wants to highlight that. Every ashrama has some advantages, some advantage, some disadvantage. In Grihastha ashrama, advantage is that you have got this avenue for getting purification of the mind. Because there is somebody to rub. And you know the sharpening of the knife happens by rubbing on some rough surface. On the butter slab you cannot sharpen your knife. So there will be some rubbing. And when you are in Grihastha you have to make some adjustments. You will learn to expand, you learn to share. All these things are very good in Grihastha. And if a person has got certain likes, he or she can fulfill those likes without any guilt. If you are in Grihastha you feel like watching a movie, it is permissible, allowed. Certain association, a person is interested, he or she can have without any guilt. For a sannyasi, it doesn't look very good, he will feel guilty. You imagine sannyasi asks for one ticket, So the theatre, and that somebody that will come and do namaskara there also. And also it is not proper for a sannyasi. And therefore, even though he or she has some likes, he or she has to suppress. Whereas in Grihastha person can have bhoga with viveka. Mere bhoga will not give vairagyam. Bhoga with this viveka, that is this object really give me happiness which I am seeking in my life? Let me see. To do that experiment, Grihastha is suitable. In Sannyasa ashrama, certain experiments cannot be done. And therefore, Grihastha has advantage. And Sannyasa ashrama also has some advantage, but some disadvantages also. If person has got some suppressed desires, then he will have to live double life. Means outside something and inside something. And it will create lot of conflict. And with this life with so much conflict and guilt is not conducive for spiritual pursuit. And one more disadvantage with sannyasa ashrama is it is a one-way traffic. Means once you enter into sannyasa, you cannot give sannyasa to sannyasa and again come back to grihastha. It is a one-way traffic. There are people who do, but according to our shastra, once person has taken sannyasa, he or she should not come back. It is considered adharma. Pratiloma. You cannot come back to ashrama. From grihastha ashrama, you can go to sannyasa ashrama. From sannyasa ashrama, reverse is not allowed. Reverse no. Sometimes people after grihastha ashrama also they say brahmacharini, brahmachari, this. According to tradition, it is not correct. From grihastha ashrama, you cannot go back to brahmachari ashrama. Now you take your car ahead only. From brahmacharya, you can go to vanaprastha, vanaprastha to sannyasa. You can lead a life of brahmachari. That is okay. But to consider, now title oneself as a brahmachari is not considered traditional in our shastra. Similarly, from sannyasa ashrama, person should not come back to grihastha ashrama. So it is irreversible, at least in this janma. Next janma again person can become grihastha. He will become grihastha because he has got some vasana for that. But in this janma he cannot become. Therefore, grihastha ashrama is considered to be a safe ashrama. Sannyasa ashrama is a risky ashrama. Risk and reward go together. Some reward is there in stock market language. Risk and reward. So some reward is there if you are qualified. Even sannyasa ashrama, reward is there only if you are qualified. If you know how to use your time well, then sannyas ashrama is good because it gives you more time. But if you are not qualified, if you are not ready for free time, then sannyas ashrama is very dangerous ashrama. Because you don't have avenues, right avenues to spend your time. Nowadays, sannyas ashrama is becoming relatively easy. Why? Because you have got so much social media. So whole day you can spend on that. So a person can have this virtual world. But in those days it was more difficult. Even now also, how long person can remain in that? And therefore every ashrama has got plus and minus. And in every ashrama, person can pursue knowledge and get moksha. Depending upon the background of the person, some ashrama will be more suitable, some ashrama will be less suitable. Like for some people, remaining at home will be more suitable and steady because they require protective atmosphere. Whereas some people, hostel may be better. It depends what is the background of the person. Similarly here, any ashrama person can get moksha. And Arjuna has this, may have a doubt. Therefore Bhagavan says, Janakadayaha karmana eva samsiddhim astitaha. Here in this shloka, one doubt may come. So Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji answered that. That Janakadayaha karmana eva samsiddhim, does it mean that Janaka and others got moksha by karma itself? Because if you see grammar, karmana eva, karmana tritiya. So by karma alone, Janaka and others got moksha. Whereas Shankaracharya ji got moksha by Jnanam. Shukadev ji got moksha by Jnanam. Janaka and others got moksha by karma alone. So again that four-path theory will come back. That some people can go by Jnanam, some people can go by karma, and all this four-path theory, karma, bhakti, jnana and Raj Yoga. So four-path theory will again come to our mind. Therefore Shankaracharya ji makes it clear, when it is said karmana eva, means karma paved the way, sadhana bhutena karmana, sattva shuddhi dvara samsiddhim astitaha. So karma paved the way for this Janaka and others to attain moksha through chitta shuddhi, jnana prapti. Not that by karma alone they got moksha. That is one thing. And Bhagavan Bhashyakara says, if we consider that Janakas who are referred to here are the wise people, then the message given is that even after getting Jnanam, they could have renounced the karma, but they did not renounce karma. See, for a wise person, there is no compulsion that he should do karma, and he doesn't have compulsion that he should not do karma. Either way is free. He can do, he need not do. Pujya Swamiji, last time also I quoted that if you can remain happy without doing anything, you can continue to be happy. You can remain happy doing anything. If you can remain happy without doing anything, then you can remain happy doing anything required. So karma or akarma do not make any difference to his fullness. And therefore here Janakadayaha, Janaka and others, they remained in karma setup even after getting Jnanam, and they did not take sannyasa. That is the message. So here Bhagavan quoted Janaka to show that there is a precedence that remaining in the karma setup person attain Jnanam and moksha. Alright. So with this, Karma Yoga topic is completed. Now from the next part of the next half of the shloka, Bhagavan is entering into the topic of the approach of a wise person towards karma. How a wise person will be looking upon karma, which are necessary to be done, which are required in a given setup. For him it is not required, but it is required in a given setup. So what will be his or her approach towards karma? And that is from the second half of the 20th shloka. And that is called the topic of Loka Sangraha, or the vision of the wise person, the approach of a wise person towards karma. And here the point Bhagavan Sri Krishna is highlighting is, Arjuna, even if you think that you are a Jnani, because Arjuna may say that Lord, when I came to you I was Ajnani, but by your grace now I have got Jnanam. So since I am a Jnani, and you yourself told in the 17th, 18th sloka that for a Jnani no karma is required. So I am Jnani, and therefore I don't require action. Like the student, no, the child, he doesn't want to study, so he will say, I have already studied, I will not study. You ask me anything. A mother cannot ask, he knows. So, so I have studied, therefore I will not study further. So similarly, Arjuna may say that I have got Jnanam, therefore why should I do action? Jnani need not do action. You only told, Tasya karyam na vidyate. For that possible doubt, Bhagavan says there is one more consideration for a wise person to do the action, especially when he or she is in a given setup. Not for every wise person, but when a wise person is in a given setup, he or she will do the action with proper approach. And what is that approach? That is said in the second half. Loka sangraham eva api sampashyan kartum arhasi. Kartum arhasi means you should do the action. Sampashyan, considering. Loka sangraham, this word is very popular. Those who have studied Bhagavad Gita, this Loka sangraha is a very popular word. Oh, he is doing for Loka sangraha, Loka sangraha. Loka sangraha means what? General translation is given is well-being of the society or protection of the society. But Bhagavan Bhashyakara gives a very specific meaning. He says, Lokasya unmarga pravrutti nivaranam. So what is said here? When a wise person is in a given setup, for example, wise person continues to remain in Grihastha-ashrama for some reason. He cannot, because of some health reason or because of some social background or something, he or she cannot take sannyasa. So he or she is in Grihastha-ashrama and he has got wisdom. Because of wisdom, he doesn't require to do action. But he is a Grihastha, and as a Grihastha he is supposed to do Sandhya Vandanam, the Agnihotra, Panchamaha Yajnas he is supposed to do. Now, if a wise person doesn't do all these duties, he is not a loser. Because he has already attained what is to be attained from karma. Karma is for Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Shuddhi is for Dhanam. He has already got Dhanam. Then why should he do this karma? Bhagavan says, still a wise person will do. In fact, we need not say wise person should do, wise person would do. Why will he do it? Because he is in a given setup. He is in the Grihastha-ashrama. And being a wise person, he must be a mature person, knowledgeable person. And therefore, he or she will be looked up to by the people around. Whether he likes it or not, he is a role model. Because to get wisdom is not that easy. To get this wisdom, how much maturity he or she will have. And everybody doesn't have the high degree of maturity. Therefore, he definitely will be well known. And if he doesn't do karma, then what will happen? People will say, see, he is such a great person, but doesn't do any action. Sandhya Vandanam he doesn't do, this Agnihotra doesn't do, he doesn't do any yajna. Why should we do it? And human being always looks for such excuse. No. That he did not do it, he doesn't do it, so I cannot do it. You know, in the traffic you must have seen, if one person violates the traffic signal, other person violates. Many people don't have courage. But if one person does, others get courage. So similarly here, this wise person doesn't require and therefore he doesn't do. But people will not know that. People will say, he is a great person and he doesn't do it. So even without doing this, he is great. So why should I do? And we always look for such example for justifying our weakness. And therefore what will happen? This wise person will become a wrong precedence to be quoted by such lazy people. And it will harm the society. Because people will follow that and they will not do what is to be done. And therefore what will happen? They don't have the benefit of the wisdom this wise person has. And they have given up the means for their upliftment, protection, purification. And therefore what will happen? They will go astray. They will be diverted from the path of dharma. And if dharma is not there in life, spirituality cannot come. Nowadays people say that not religious but spiritual. Spiritual but not religious. Then new group is coming up. And people, they are proudly saying that, see, I am spiritual, not religious. Our traditional view is, without following dharma, you cannot attain real spirituality. You cannot attain the benefit of spiritual pursuit. And therefore, one has to remain on the path of dharma to attain this wisdom this wise person has attained. And wise person unknowingly, he becomes the instrument in misleading people. And therefore, when a wise person is in a particular setup, then he or she will do what is expected in a given setup. I am a wise person, therefore I will not do this. That he or she will not think. If a wise person doesn't have pride of being a wise person, if wise person is proud of being a wise person, he is not a wise person. And therefore, if person is really a wise person, he or she will do exactly what is to be done. He doesn't have the value to look something, extraordinary. The craze for extraordinary keeps the person away from this fullness. The extraordinary, why should you just be with the flow? So it is a right flow. So I am this, therefore I should be exempted, etc. No. As long as I am in setup, I do what is to be done. And therefore here Bhagavan says, Arjuna, considering the Loka Sangraha, considering the avoidance of misleading, in fact one translation is avoidance of misleading people, kartum arhasi karma, you are supposed to do the action. Why, Arjuna? You are a role model for so many people. Whether you like it or not. People may say, Swamiji, I don't ask people to follow me. Whether you ask or not, people will follow. And therefore, Arjuna, considering the well-being of the society, protection of the society also, you should do this karma. Because if you do not do, then people will quote your example. And they also will go astray. And therefore, Loka Sangraha mevapi sampashyan kartum arasi. And now, in the next sloka, Bhagavan is elaborating this particular topic of Loka Sangraha. Before I go further to the next sloka, many people understand Loka Sangraha means constructing these schools and running the hospitals, this orphanage, that alone is Loka Sangraha. And therefore, even from sannyasis, they expect they should run some hospitals, they should run some schools. Sannyasis, the wise person can do it. But in the case of wise person, Loka Sangraha is not simply running the hostels, running the hospitals. He can do, he need not do it. For a sannyasi, what is Loka Sangraha? He should remain in the ashrama dharma of a sannyasi. How a sannyasi is supposed to behave, in that manner he behaves, that is his Loka Sangraha. Loka Sangraha means following the role he is in, following the script of the role he is supposed to be playing. He need not go out of the way. For a sannyasi, it is not a duty that he has to start a hospital. He may start, he need not. For him, Loka Sangraha will be what? He should lead a life of a sannyasi properly. Whatever are these dharmas of the sannyasa, he should follow it properly. That is his Loka Sangraha. Loka Sangraha means not misleading people. That is for Loka Sangraha. And therefore, we should not think, oh, this sannyasi, Swamiji is not running any hospital, he is not doing any school, therefore he is not doing Loka Sangraha. Loka Sangraha is not the same for everybody. When you are in Grihastha-ashrama, your Loka Sangraha will be of one type. When you are in Vanaprastha, Loka Sangraha is different type. When you are Brahmacharya ashrama, and if you are a wise person, your Loka Sangraha will be different. If you are a sannyasi, Loka Sangraha on your part will be different. So, depending upon the setup you are in, what is Loka Sangraha is decided. Loka Sangraha only means that you don't deviate from the script of the setup, the description or the duties of the setup, duties of the role you are supposed to be playing. If you are a sannyasi, you lead life of a sannyasi. That is your Loka Sangraha. You are in sannyasa ashrama, you follow the dharmas of sannyasa ashrama. Don't deviate from that. That is your Loka Sangraha. So we should not consider Loka Sangraha is equal to running the hospitals. Running the hospital also can be Loka Sangraha. But that alone is Loka Sangraha. Running the school alone is this Loka Sangraha. That is not correct. All those can be Loka Sangraha. But for everybody, that need not be Loka Sangraha. So I want to clarify, because many people have got this idea that Loka Sangraha means this only. Alright. Loka Sangraha means not misleading people by deviating from the duties of the ashrama. That is Loka Sangraha. And now, Bhagavan Krishna elaborates this topic by showing the importance of the Loka Sangraha on the part of a wise person. Yadyadacharati shreshtaha tattadevetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastadanu vartate. This is a very popular shloka of the 3rd chapter and even Bhagavad Gita. Swami Chinmayananda used to love this shloka. In fact, he will make us read twice. That he used to conduct Jnana Yajna. His very favorite shloka. And in this shloka, what is said is that whatever a role model does, people follow. Whatever a role model sets as a standard, people will consider that as standard. That is the idea given here. And to understand the significance of this shloka, we have to understand so many background topics. Human life can be lived in two ways, is lived in two ways. One is Prakruta life and Samskrita life. Prakruta life means life based on instincts, likes and dislikes. I do what I like. In Hindi जैसे हम जो करेंगे, हम वो करेंगे, दिल जो कहे. I will do what I like. I am the master of myself. He says I am the master. He is not really master. He is the slave to the sense organ, sense objects. But he said I am the master. And people generally consider this alone as freedom. What is freedom? I do what I like. So I feel like drinking, I drink. After all, we have got one life, they say. After we have got one life to live. So I feel like drinking, I drink. I feel like taking drugs, I do it. I do what I want. I feel like having a relationship with so many people, illicit relationship. This is my life. This is my life. This is another experience. This is my life. So people generally consider freedom what? I should be able to do whatever I like. That is general understanding of freedom, and that is the argument of most of the youngsters. It is my life. Therefore, they start earning at early age. So therefore, parents will not, tell that if you don't do this, we'll drive you out. I am ready. It's a happy exit. So that is the line of thinking, becoming very popular. According to Shastra, this is a Prakruta life, Prakruta Jivanam. The person is called Prakruta Purusha. Prakruta means unrefined person. A person who leads his life purely based on likes and dislikes, instincts, that person is called Prakruta Purusha. Why Prakruta? Unrefined. Unrefined means whatever a child was doing, that now also is doing. Because child doesn't have any this sense of appropriateness. Child comes here, suppose, and it makes noise. It makes noise. It is not considered inappropriate. Because child is unrefined. Janmana jayate shudra. Everybody is unrefined by birth. And therefore, in childhood, if a child feels like doing something, he does, it is understandable because child is unrefined. But you are supposed to be refined later on. And if person still continues to live his life based on his likes and dislikes, then he is a Prakruta Purusha, unrefined person. Then Swamiji, what is wrong in it? People may ask, what is wrong in it? I lead my life as I like. But if you see that a person who is leading one's life purely based on likes and dislikes will not have any direction and will have so many conflicts afterwards, even though he thinks that he is leading his life the way he wants, but he doesn't have the knowledge of what is right and wrong. Therefore, chances are there that he will be making wrong choice. Because generally what we like is not right. And what is right, we don't like. There is a food, no? The food which we are supposed to eat, we don't like. And what we like, doctors say you should not eat. That's how it is. And therefore, if your life is purely based on likes and dislikes, you are very likely to make wrong choice. Because purely based on likes and dislikes. And they say every choice has got consequences. And therefore what happens? We are seeing this on news. That people are nowadays leading this materialistic life. What type of life they are leading? They remain together for some time, then they get married, and then they have a divorce, and they fight about child, and then so many things. I am seeing that now this divorce rate is going up, suicide rate is going up. This anti-depression medicine is sold maximum in the US, they say. Sleep, people have so much problem. More and more life is becoming miserable. If this Prakruta way of life was a right lifestyle, people should be happier and happier. But we are reading more and more this depression coming up, suicide at young age is happening. Therefore something wrong in that approach. Therefore our Shastra says that let your life be guided by sense of appropriateness, dharma viveka. And a person who leads his life based on dharma viveka means the discriminative understanding of what is right and what is wrong. A person who lives his life based on that person is called Samskrita Purusha, a refined person. And a refined person alone can become a free person. Therefore, Swami Chinmayanand used to say, animal man to man to God man. So, first you have to become a man. Means what? You have to become a refined person. You cannot say that, no, I will lead my life the way I want. And at last moment I will say Shivoham, and will become free. Many people they say, Swami, the whole year I just enjoy, and last few hours I just study and I get pass. So they want to do same thing in the spiritual pursuit. It doesn't work. You cannot wish that last moment I will do Shivoham. If you have done whole life Dhammarodham, then then you cannot do Shivoham at the end. I have seen one person that, people say Rama. You can't say. It's very difficult. It's not that you cannot will it. And therefore, let us learn to have refined life. And refined life is life based on this discretion, based on viveka of dharma and adharma. Dharma means what is right, adharma means what is not right. Now the question would be, how do I get this dharma jnanam? Yeah, for certain things our common sense is good enough. But many of the areas we do not have complete picture of the situation, and therefore we may make wrong decision. We have seen that many things that were found to be very beneficial, afterward they were found to be harmful. They said that is not good approach. They have to drop it. During COVID, one particular injection, people say that is the thing, But afterward they found it was not necessary. It said that created problem. So we are not sure in many areas what is really good for us. Therefore, in our tradition, we go by a reliable source called Vedas. So we say that with regard to the dharma and adharma, final pramanam is Vedas, Shastras. And Vedas are not created by human beings. They are called apaurushaya. And therefore they are free from these human defects. And these Vedas are considered to be primary source for knowing right and wrong. That is Veda. Vedo kilo dharma moolam. Second is Smriti Granthas. Smriti Granthas means the text written, composed by certain rishis, certain seers who have the vision of Vedas. So Veda-based text, not Veda themselves, but Veda-based text written by some great wise people, great learned people, that is called Smriti Granthas. And we have got, traditionally we have got 18 Smriti Granthas. The most popular one is Manusmriti. Now Manusmriti has become a big controversial text. So Manusmriti. And like that we have got Manusmriti, Yajnavalkya Smriti, Vyasa Smriti, there Parashara Smriti, so many Smriti Granthas are there. So they also are the source of knowing what is dharma, what is right, what is wrong. The third source for knowing what is right, what is wrong is called Shishtachara. Shishtachara means, Achara means conduct. Shishta means exalted person, noble person. The conduct of a noble person, well-informed person. Shishta literally means taught. Upadishtaha. So a person who is well taught in Vedas and Dharma Shastra, which is otherwise called Smriti, that and who is following that person is called Shishta Purusha. And his conduct, her conduct is called Shishtachara. So there are three sources of knowing dharma, adharma. What is right, what is wrong. One is called Vedas, other is Smriti Granthas, Third is called this Shishtachara. And even though authenticity wise, Vedas are considered to be the most authentic. And second is the Smriti Granthas. And Shishtachara is valid based on the Vedas and Smritis. If they are contradicting with Vedas and Smritis, Shishtachara is not valid. So authenticity wise, validity wise, Vedas are the most authentic. But impact wise, the utility wise, popularity wise, the third one, Shishtachara, is the most impactful source of knowing dharma and adharma. Why? Because most of the people do not have the knowledge to study Vedas and meaning of the Vedas. Chanting is one thing. Knowing in a language of Vedas is not like a Rama Brahmam Gacchati. That for Sanskrit is not good enough. So Rama Brahmam Gacchati. Similarly, people think that I will study Vedas. One lady was telling me when she came from UK, so she is a doctor. So she had heard that Vedas, it's all our great knowledge there in Vedas. So she went and bought Rigveda book, and she said she could not understand anything. So people don't have, most of the people do not have direct access to Vedas. And even Smriti Granthas. And in Smriti Granthas also, there is so much elaboration about what all things to be done and not to be done. Some of them may look irrelevant. And therefore people may be confused unless person has got a right teacher to teach it. And therefore the most popular, the most impactful is Shishtachara. Pujya Swamiji used to use the word Buddha Vyavahara. His favorite word, Buddha Vyavahara. Buddha Vyavahara means the transaction or the conduct of a learned, informed, experienced person. In fact, you see, that's what we do in our family also. The grandma will tell, say, this is to be done, Pongal means this is to be done. This particular item is to be cooked. In fact, in some house that 10, 15, 16 items they have to cook on particular day. What all items to be cooked? Who will know? Vruddhaha. So grandma has this, knowledge. So she will tell. And then the daughter-in-law will become, again after some time grandma, she will become Vruddhaha. So Vruddha Vyavahara means Shishtachara is one of the important source for knowing what is right and what is wrong. And therefore, it is the responsibility of Shishta Purusha, the informed people, to behave properly. If they do not behave properly, then people will take his example and they will be misled. And therefore, Shishtachara being important means for knowing dharma and dharma. Hey Arjuna, you being considered to be Shishta Purusha, even if you are a wise person, still it is proper on your part to do what is to be done so that people will not misquote you. People will not take your example for justifying their weakness, for justifying their escapism. And therefore, Arjuna, even considering the well-being of the society, you do what is to be done, even though you think you are a wise person. It is a supposition argument. You are not a wise person, I know. But even if you think you are a wise person, still you do it. And that is said here in this shloka, which we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.